Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy,
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Mr. Magazine.
Yes.
You definitely have a lot, a lot more skin in the game as far as this goes than I do because you've got a number of employees. So you don't just have to manage yourself; you also have to potentially manage a whole bunch of employees. But I definitely do notice this affecting me as well. How do you, for yourself and for the employees, how do you handle distractions?
Oh, well,
Wow.
I think I'm a lot better now than years ago, especially I was probably making mountains out of molehills years ago. Now I tend to ignore certain distractions or just, you deal with it you deal as best you can and just move on and don't let it fester, something, and it's usually small stuff, but I definitely don't, let it control my life. Whatever's more important, family, business, work, that type of stuff takes precedence. The show must go on. We still have to work every day, and we can't let any distractions take us down.
What about the minutia of what I end up finding happening, and I'm definitely going to have to overcome this. But I'll give you a perfect example. I work from home on Tuesdays. And I'm over there working at my kitchen table with, on the day job, and I do get breaks, and I do get all that, and you obviously you can't just sit at the computer for 8 hours a day staring at the screen. You can't.
Right.
I made that mistake when the lockdown first happened, and I was just completely wiped out at the end of the day because it's eye strain and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So you do have to walk away from the computer.
Yeah.
Tuesday happens to be garbage day, so all of a sudden the garbage truck comes down. I'll be like, okay, once I get in my a given case in my day job has a whole bunch of little areas, so I can get done with a certain spot and stop it, and then I just have to move on to the next step. But I'm all done with that one first step.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is, the garbage truck came. Let me get down to the end of step number 2. Okay, now let me go out and get the garbage tote and bring it in because it's got to be done.
Yeah. Right.
Let me do it right now, and I'll walk away from the computer for a minute, and I come back and start working again. The mailman comes by. Well, this case is nearly done. Let me get it down to part 4 out of the 5, and then I'll go grab the mail and see what was in the mail. Okay, great. And then I finish the case up, and then I go on to the next one. Well, meanwhile, an email came in, whether it's a work email or personal email, whatever ends up happening. You can allow yourself to be distracted all day long if you want to.
Right.
How do you avoid that, and how do you have your employees avoid that if you can?
Well, I squeeze my day in from, like I said, I get up for like 3:30ish, but then I'm usually trying to take an hour nap before 7 o'clock or so, get done by 7. Then my day starts, I shower, get to the warehouse. I do a couple hours there. I kind of mix up the whole day to keep me busy. And then by 3, 4 o'clock, I'm shot, and I'm going home, and that's it. I'm just chilling out after that. So, But again, I go from the shop to the warehouse. I stay there till 3, 4 o'clock, and then I go home, and that's it. So in my head, I just keep looking forward to 3, 4 o'clock. Like, get it all done. You got to do this, squeeze it all in, whatever you got to do, prioritize, and then by that time, you're easy sailing. You get home, it's over with until the next day.
See, and I think that is an advantage over what it's going to be for me after I retire, because I will be in one spot, generally speaking, leaving out if I'm going on a buy or something like that. I'll be in my house.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of opportunities for distraction in the house.
Yeah.
I have to eat. Well, my day job has always been a little different because I can take lunch whenever I want. But a lot of people, they they start work at 8 o'clock in the morning, and first break is 10:15. And that's that. Every day they know they have a break at 10:15. And lunch is at 12 o'clock. Every day lunch is at 12 o'clock.
Right.
They're regimented. Working out of the house, I wouldn't necessarily be regimented. And I can get distracted by the mailman. I can get distracted because UPS could come at any time, or Amazon could drop something off at any time. FedEx, whenever during the day, could distract me. And just by the
You could get
nature,
distracted over a pile of unlisted comics that have been sitting in the living room for a year, and then you could trip, and then you're like, "Oh, let me rest my leg,"
or I could just start reading them.
or listing them.
I'd rather read them. They're much more fun to read. But you just have all this, and the other thing too is you absolutely never know when something's going to sell. So I think I'm going to sit down. I think I'm going to set the list. Let me check my, oh, 2 things sold. Let me go find them.
Yeah.
And as a one-man band, I've got to find and pack everything myself. It's not like I have an employee to do it. So I can end up wasting an awful lot of the day just doing all that kind of stuff like that. Like, oh, something sold. Let me go do it. Okay, now let me list something. Something else sold. Let me go find it. Let me pack it.
See, that's my employees doing. I try and get them out of that. For me, they're not being very efficient because they want to list 3-4 items. Oh, let me put it on a shelf or something like that, or let me go pack this. It's like, no, do all your busy work in the beginning of the day or the end of the day, and you're listing in the middle, because you need to be on a roll for listing. You just can't list a few items and come back, because before you know it, you listed 30 items and you should have listed 60.
Yep.
So I try and tell them that, like, hey, get a system down.
Well, and then there are people, and I'm sure you've had employees like this, that almost look for distractions.
Oh, yeah.
And, oh, I can help with that. Yeah. Oh, I can do that. Oh, let me get the door for you. Oh, let me do this. And it's like they're just doing anything they can to...
Well, my manager's like that when he first became a manager, because he wanted to be helpful. But I said, hey, it's a little too much. Let's do the important stuff. Like I said, do your busy work. If you feel like doing it early, then go on lunch and then list the rest of the day, or reverse it. So...
Yeah, so it definitely is difficult. Kind of wondering what you do out there to avoid distractions. Almost need a computer without an email on it for me, because again, when something other comes in to sell or sells just the way that I am, I feel like it's hanging over my head. Oh my gosh, I've got to find this. I've got to find this. I got to find this. Mm-hmm. Whereas if I didn't know it sold, obviously I wouldn't know that I had to find it. So it does end up getting a little bit difficult, and certainly as it is now with the day job and everything, hey, anything that I'm doing for the business is kind of gravy.
Right.
But after I retire, I don't necessarily want to waste 2, 3, 4 hours a day every single day when I could end up being a lot more efficient about it. So wondering how you handle distractions out there. I know there are some resellers out there who don't even allow music or any of that in their reselling area, because they feel that's a distraction to them. And I know that even right there, you're playing music. Now, I would tend to play Sirius, so it's whatever's playing on there is what's playing on there.
Right.
But if you sit there and you have playlists and, I don't like this song, let me go through the song. Let me find a different song. Let me do this. Let me do that.
Right.
Or if you're watching YouTube videos in the background and one ends, well, now you're spending 2 minutes trying to find another video, even if it is reselling videos, which is primarily what I watch. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a reselling video, let me go find a different reselling video. And next thing you know, you've screwed off and wasted 5 minutes to find another reselling video there. Whereas if I didn't have it on at all.
Sure.
And then the other question comes in, how efficient am I at listing if I'm partially listening to the video?
Yeah.
Unless it's, the exception I would make to that would be, let's say eBay was making some gigantic changes and somebody or other saying, here's how this is going to affect you. Okay, but even at that point, I should almost not even be trying to list. I should watch, because that's enough of a change to completely pay attention to.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit, just kind of thinking about the distractions as I get closer and closer to retirement. I think about these kind of things because, again, I see the potential pitfalls, and I could see end of a week not having listed very much and saying, what happened to this last week? And you hear more and more people doing that as they get into retirement.
It'd be like Mr. Mom from that movie.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Hopefully that helps you a little bit. Thank you for the Mr. Mom reference. That should probably get the millennials flocking to the channel. Hit the like button if you could, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.